everybody, I'm Joey Paul and I'm an indie author, and today I'm going to be answering questions from you guys, specifically the you guys that are writers. So I have 10 questions and a bonus one, and I'm basically going to go through and answer them all for you now. So here we go. Number 1. Has your outline method changed in the years you've been writing? Yes and no. I've always done minimal outline planning, and in the years since I started writing, I found that plan has come a bit more extensive, possibly because the books I'm writing are a bit more extensive. And so while I'll have a chapter plan that I go through and it just has one line, if even a line, a few words about what's supposed to happen in that chapter, and then the rest of it is basically making it up as I go along. It's changed in that, like I said, it's gotten a bit more extensive, but I'm pretty much doing the same kind of outline that I did when I first wrote Blackout, so in other ways it hasn't, no. Number 2, do you find yourself drawn to the same kind of characters, and if so, how do you separate them into individuals? I don't think so. I have written a wide array of characters and they're all different in their own ways. I think when you first start writing, there is that risk that you're writing the same character over and over and over, and the way to separate them into individuals is literally to do just that, to make them stand out in their own way, give them flaws, give them talents, give them personality traits that are different from each other, and basically just build them up until they become completely distinguishable from the other. I think it's a trap you can fall into, but it's not one that I think I have fallen into. Tally and Tara, because they were both written around the same time or started writing around the same time, they shared some similar traits, but they were completely different from each other and completely distinguishable from each other. You couldn't put Tara in Blackout and not think, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And you couldn't put Tally in Dying Thoughts and think, yeah, that works. So in that way, they are indistinguishable. Number 3, how do you accomplish so much given your health restraints? I plan my time. I'm like super organized when it comes to blocking out what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Like, I will have my sticky notes that I've talked about before, and I will have time set aside for at least one thing a day. It started off with just a page a day, and then it moved up to chapters a day, and sometimes if I'm feeling adventurous, I will do 2 things a day, like, you know, just in case. Accomplishing so much despite my health restraints, I think I work with them rather than against them. There are some days, like in the week I'm coming up, I have 3 days off because I have 3 separate hospital stuff, and on those days you really just can't do anything. It's just not possible. Like MeePo, I know I can't work when I have MeePo. I have a hospital appointment in Oxford. I have a GP appointment and hydrotherapy to get to, so yeah, I basically just plan around my time and make sure that I've got everything, I've got deadlines in place, and I've got everything working for me rather than against me. And even though I did 3 releases this year, which I will never do again, I always made sure that I had deadlines in place, that the people I was working with knew those deadlines, and just kept keeping on top of my time, of my planning and all the rest of it. Number 4, has there ever been a book released that you wish you could rewrite now? If so, which one? Yes and no. I have sort of like read Blackout, and I've read Dying Thoughts First Touch and Second Sight, and I thought I wish I could make the story better, but I realised that by doing that it changes the story, and then that knocks the whole series on its head, so I wouldn't do that. I think that for me personally, once you release a book, that's it. The odd typo correction is fine, but you can't go in and change the contents of the book. That's just me personally. I feel like if I keep doing that, or if I kept telling myself that it was okay to do that, then I would never get anything done. I would never move forward. I would be constantly rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. So for me, it's not something that I wish I could do. I wonder about it sometimes, but as I've talked about before, you grow as you write, you change, things get better, you get better at some things, you expand on others, and I think the stories need to stay as they are, and because they're finished and they're out there in the world and people have read them, and I think that's basically as best as they're gonna get. Number 5, Have you ever done a creative writing course, and if so, would you recommend it? Actually, yeah, I have done some creative writing courses, kind of, in the fact that I've played around with it, but I've never actually finished the course. I was going to for a while as part of my degree. I was going to do, because I could choose one course that wasn't tied into the degree program, and me and B were going to do a creative writing course at the same time, but I never got around to it. And while I think it would have been interesting, I don't think personally that I need it. That's not me being big-headed and saying that my writing is perfect. That's me just saying I don't think it's aimed at me. I don't think I am the target audience of those courses. I think if you do want to do those courses, that's completely okay, and you should go ahead and do so. But personally, I don't think it's for me. Number 6, how long does it take you to thought dump an outline? Anywhere from a few months to a few days. Like, it really does depend. With our see-through, I was close to 6 months thought dumping and outlining, and that wasn't all outlining. Like I said, I just do a chapter plan, but I thought dumped over 6 months simply because I was in the middle of writing another book and I couldn't spend time planning this book. I had to just dump the thoughts when they came and let them sit there for a while. And it took me about 6 months before I got to the stage where I was like, okay, I have enough that I can actually write this sucker now. But other times, like with the Invisible series, I haven't been really thought dumping beyond the initial idea. Like when it comes to planning book 4 or whatever, I would just sit there and go, okay, this is what happened in book 3, this is what needs to happen in book 4, let's plan and outline and chapter plan, and that's it. Boom, done. So it really does depend. If it's an original idea, if it's not part of a series, then sometimes it can take me a long time. Even if it is part of a series, like with the Cramming Chronicles series, I really struggled towards the end, and I would have to really spend a lot of time thinking about what I wanted the internal mystery as such to be. And yeah, but the same was true of the Dying Thought series. I got to the stage where I was really sort of struggling with what I wanted that external conflict to be before I started writing the little nuances that went into it. So it depends. Number 7. Have you ever considered writing adult fiction, and if not, why not? I haven't, but that's simply because I just haven't had ideas that fit with adult fiction. I know Walk a Mile could be considered sort of like new adult, and people have suggested that I do a sequel to that. I personally haven't decided to do that, so yeah. But I haven't considered it in that I haven't had ideas that have spoken to me and I've said, I must write this idea because it be an adult idea. I'm kind of happy writing an adult, and I'm kind of happy exploring the genre, the category, and exploring genres and stuff like that. So yeah, I have considered it, but I'm not saying never, I'm just not saying yes either. Number 8. Do you feel like you're skipping genres too much to be a household name in any one? Yes and no. I think that as long as I stay within the young adult category, that it's less of a problem. Because young adult is huge. It's huge. And all those genres inside it, there's mind-blowing amount of people. But I think because I'm young adult and then the genres, I can become a household name, as it were. I just won't become a household name in young adult, mystery, thriller, etc. But I think I could become a household name in young adult as a whole, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying I will, but the option is there. Number 9. What's your advice in regards to pseudonyms? Would you use one? Yes, I would. Technically I am. My name is not Joey. I'm not telling you what my name is, but my name is not Joey, but it was a nickname that I had at school. And because of that, B calls me Joey, Darla calls me Joey, lots of people call me Joey, so it's not a big leap, it's not as much of a pseudonym as some people's pseudonyms, but it's not my legal name. And because of that, I was happy to use it because I don't like my legal name, and I like Joey. I like being Joey Paul, and so yeah, I would use one, and like technically am using one, but it's one that I was commonly known as before anyway, so it's okay. But I don't think there's anything wrong with using a pseudonym. I think you have to do what works for you, and if using a pseudonym is part of that, that's okay. I just think you have to be upfront about it. Like, if you're using a pseudonym and someone asks you outright, then maybe tell them. But you don't have to tell them who you are. You can just, I know some people like to keep their pseudonyms as their front and don't want to tell people what their real names are. I personally don't want to tell people what my real name is. That's okay. And yeah, I think they're okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I think they're common in the writing world, and there's nothing wrong with that. And number 10, how does someone get highlighted in your Friday blog posts? That is really, really simple. You basically just fill out the form that's in the description below, and if I'm interested, I'll get back to you. I'm actually booked now until pretty much the end of the year, but I'm always looking for new people and new faces and new books to read and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's really, really simple. I post about it a lot on Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook when I'm looking for people, but not as hard as it seems. And the bonus question: congrats on all the releases. How do you manage to have such a huge back catalogue? Basically, I was first published in 2005. By that point I had, I think it was 5 books finished, and then there was a break between 2005 and 2011, and by that point I had 12 books written. So I kept writing even though I wasn't publishing regularly, and because of that it got me a bit of a backlog, and then I got quicker at writing. I say quicker, I'm not as quick as many people, but it takes me about 5 to 6 months to finish 2 books, so I'm not that quick. But yeah, so I kept writing and I keep writing, so now I think I'm at something like 26 books finished, 16 books published, so I have 10 in backlog, and I'm writing 2 others. So that's how I managed to have a huge backlog. I basically just kept writing even though I wasn't actively publishing, while I was also still polishing up the older manuscripts, and that's basically the secret, is just to keep writing. And yeah, it's not a huge secret. People have asked me if I will publish my backlog like really rapidly, and having done 3 releases this year, I know I cannot do 10 books in a short space of time. It would drive me crazy. It would. I mean, this year has been manic. It has been really, really hard on me, and not just because my editing team kind of fell apart, but because just the stress and the deadlines and all the rest of it. It just hasn't been a good year, writing wise and emotionally and mentally. So no, I couldn't, even if I had the money to pay editors and proofreaders and line editors and cover designers, even if I had all of that, I wouldn't rapid release, because I personally am not built for that. Nothing wrong with it if you do it, but I'm not personally built for that, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I will stick to releasing 2 books a year and slowly work through my backlog. It also gives me time to do things like betas and edits and take my time with things rather than rushing through everything, which would stress me out even more. So yeah, so no, I'm not going to release my backlog that quickly, at least anyway. I will release it, I'm just not going to release it all within the space of 2 years or something. That would be insane. So there we have it. 10 questions and a bonus one from you guys. If you guys ever have a question for me, all you have to do is send it to me on social media. Generally speaking, I will answer it there and then, but other times I will save it for a video like this. I wanted to do a questions from writers because I've gotten a lot of technical questions recently, and I thought, okay, these people aren't just readers, they're writers as well, so let's do a special one for that. So yeah, that's all I have time for today. If you want to support my channel, you can comment or subscribe. I post new videos on best days. You can find me all over social media, and my books are available everywhere. And now you can pick up Dying Thoughts 8th Ending in stores, and you can also pick up Lights Out in stores, all the links to which are listed below. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep writing. Bye.